Whenever you're ready now.
All right. Okay, so I'm Kate Knaus. My best friend, Sean, is actually my hero. He is my longest friend. I've known him since high school. We were always kind of like the two amigos. A lot of my friends used to call him my shadow, actually, because he was always right there next to me through everything. When most people think of a hero, personally, I always thought of like Superman, Spider-Man, all this stuff. I was always really big into Marvel. But for Sean, he is kind of the underdog, I suppose. He was always the type to think of things outside the box. He never did anything like most people would expect him to do. Let's see here. Things like, what was it? The reason he's my hero to me is because he has always been there. He's always been a really hard worker, despite the fact that he's had a lot of things that have held him back. He's always pushed forward on things, so I guess perseverance would be a big one. He's currently a mechanic. He's one of the youngest managers I know at Hipkins. He does all the tech work. He just recently became the full manager of the store. Things I remember about him, honestly, like through high school, he was always a big comedian. I remember playing dodgeball with him one time, and I went in to hit somebody with a ball, and I slipped, fell on my butt, and all I remember is him coming up behind me, throwing his arms up behind my back, going, "No man left behind," and dragging me behind the line back to the rest of our team. And let's see, there was one time back in high school, my truck decided, I had this really, really big ghetto machine of a truck, and it was all beat up, and I ran out of brake fluid, and I got halfway out into the parking lot, and then my car would not shift, so I was just stuck, just sitting there in my truck, and I had no idea what to do, because at the time I had absolutely no idea about cars, and luckily, he was just coming out of the parking lot, he saw me, and he comes running up to my car, he's like, "I know what's wrong, I know what's wrong," throws my hood up, and he's like, "You're out of brake fluid," and grabbed some brake fluid out of his car, threw it in there, and then, well, that was fixed. So he's always been there to save my butt. He's always been my voice of reason to an extent. Like, he's got a little bit of a weird personality when it comes to his decisions, but at the same time, he generally has a good head on his shoulders. I mean, he's done some less than intelligent things in his time, but haven't we all? Back when, actually I have a picture of it, he was actually in a car accident about a year ago, and he ended up breaking 2 ribs and messed up his spine to the point where it was, they were saying he might actually be paralyzed. And it was funny because he's like, "Oh yeah, I might be paralyzed," and he's sitting here telling me on the phone, and I'm like, "You're crazy." I was like, "This can't be happening to you." And I drive 2 hours up to Oklahoma City from my work. I'd just gotten off night shift. Drove all the way up there with no sleep, and I get there, and he's like, "I want some ice cream," and he's already up walking around after the doctors had just told him that, "Oh, you might not be able to walk," and didn't take any pain pills, didn't do anything. He was just up wandering around the hospital, and they're like, "No, you need to go lay down, you're going to mess your back up worse." And it was like 2 days after that, he ended up pretty much going back to work. His work had to tell him to leave because they were worried he was going to mess his back up again. And this is like right afterwards, he was still being a goofy person, like, despite the fact he was in so much pain all the time, he's still working his butt off and being crazy. This is the weird stuff that we do. He's been my biggest influence in life decisions and stuff, and this is after that too. He loved to embarrass me. He's like, "I get to ride on the Walmart cart for once." He's like, "I'm going to do this just so I can embarrass you." Like, you're horrible. But even though he's always been a very tough individual, hard worker, he's persevered through a lot. Besides his car accident, like, he tried to join the military at one point. He was heartbroken that he couldn't because between breaking his back and he had a spinal tap when he was 7 or so. So they wouldn't allow him to do it because of that. So even though he wasn't able to join the military, he's still pursuing his ideas of being a police officer. So he's actually trying to put in applications for like the state trooper, and of course he found out he couldn't do that because he's not 20. Well, he just turned 21, but you have to be 24 to work there. So now he's trying to get in as a dispatcher or one of those warden things. But even though he's had all the things that have held him back, he has still tried to work his best to do what he wants to do, and he wants to be a canine cop. Because that's kind of his softer side. He loves dogs. He's always had a dog with him ever since I've known him. Like, he's always gone running with him. And it's like, he works so hard to do what he wants to do. Like, he will not let anything hold him back from what he wants to do. So in that aspect, he's kind of become a hero because I want to strive to be like him. I don't want to let anything hold me back from my dreams, because he sure won't. So that is why he's my hero, best guy I know. So.
Good job.